Hello and welcome to Top of the Ninth. Today we are looking at the top nine players in Baltimore Orioles franchise history, including their time as the St. Louis Browns before becoming the Orioles. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to show your support. Kick us off at nine as one of the best fielders at the shortstop position of all time, Mark Bellinger, forming possibly the best defensive left side of the infield ever with third baseman Brooke Robinson. Bellinger played 17 seasons with Baltimore from 1965 to 1981, winning 8 Gold Gloves at the shortstop position and helped them reach 5 World Series titles, winning one with him. According to Baseball Reference, Mark has the second most defensive WAR after only Ozzie Smith, and his 8 Gold Gloves are fourth most all time at shortstop. Not much of a hitter, he owns a 228 career batting average and has a career high of 5 home runs in a season. He didn't contribute much to offense, but he was a major reason why the Orioles saw success and had the best pitching of the late 60s and 70s due to him and Brooks getting every ball hit on the left side of the infield. At eight is our first St. Louis Browns player, Urban Shocker, who pitched 7 years for the franchise in the 20s. Apart from the Yankees at 27, Urban would start over 200 games in 7 seasons, winning 126 games with a 3.17 ERA. During his time with the Browns, he put up the third most WAR out of all starters in the league, ahead of Hall of Famers Grover Alexander and Fred Faber. Unfortunately, Shocker never saw the postseason until he was traded back to the Yankees before the 1925 season, where he would star on the 1927 Yankees, while the Browns got back Bullet Joe Bush, who might have an equally cool name as Urban Shocker. Next and seventh is recent Hall of Fame entry Mike Mussina. A lot of younger fans remember Mussina from his time on the Yankees in the 2000s, but in the 90s he was even more dominant for the Orioles. From 1991 to 2000 with Baltimore, he placed top six in AL Cy Young voting 7 of his 10 seasons with them, becoming ace of the team and a top pitcher in the league. During his time with the team, he averaged 15 wins a season with a 3.53 ERA while pitching in the AL East at the beginning of the steroid era. With Baltimore, he could only help them make the postseason twice before becoming a free agent before the 0-1 season, signing with the rival Yankees. Still, he went to the Hall of Fame as an Oriole and started 288 games for them, becoming one of their best pitchers ever. Sixth spot is Hall of Famer Bobby Wallace, who played for the St. Louis Browns from 1902 to 1918. Career defensive shortstop of his time, this led to him making the Hall of Fame despite average offensive numbers. In 15 years with the franchise, he played over 1,500 games for them, playing a great defense and becoming a steady presence for the franchise that would not make the postseason once during his time with the team. Browns would only have one winning season during his time with the team, and they would not make the postseason as a franchise until 43 years into existence in 1944. Fifth is the last St. Louis Browns player on this list and one of the greatest hitters ever, George Sisler. Owner of a lifetime 340 batting average, good for 15th all time in MLB history, Sisler hit over 400 in a season twice for the Browns. Playing for the team from 1915 to 1927, as stated previously, he would never experience postseason glory with the franchise. George Sisler would also hold the single season hit record of 257 hits in a season from 1920 until 2001 when Ichiro broke that single season record. Playing only 15 years in the league, he fell just short of the 3,000 hit club, having 2,812 in total. With the Browns in 12 seasons, he had a 340 batting average, an MVP, and was one of the best hitters of the 20s behind Ruth Gehrig and Roger Hornsby. Is one of the most electrifying starts to one career, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray, playing for the Orioles from 1977 to 1988 and later half season with the team in 1996. During his start of his career, he won Rookie of the Year and would average 28 homers a season and a 295 batting average for the first 12 years with the team to start his career as their first baseman, including 5 seasons where he finished top 5 in MVP in a row from 1981 to 85. Great power hitter, he would hit over 500 homers in his career, including the second most in Baltimore franchise history with 343. He is also part of the 3,000 hit club, with over 2,080 coming from his time in Baltimore. Murray was big and strong and could field first base well, winning multiple gold gloves there, and was the second best player on the Orioles' 1983 championship team, a season where he finished second in MVP voting behind winner and teammate Cal Ripken Jr. Next in third is the best pitcher in franchise history, Jim Palmer, who played all 19 years of his career with Baltimore, winning three Cy Young Awards, two ERA titles, and three World Series as their ace of the 60s and 70s. Palmer is the Orioles' all-time win leader and had 20 wins in a season 8 times in a 9-year span. Having won three Cy Youngs in 4 seasons and two runner-up finishes as well, he had one of the most dominating spans ever. In the six World Series he pitched, winning three of them, he was the ace of the staff all but one of those teams, and as a postseason pitcher, he was just as good as the regular season, as in the postseason in 17 games, he had a 2.61 ERA. Overall, he won 268 regular season games for the Orioles in 521 starts, sporting a 2.68 ERA, and is the best pitcher in franchise history. Second is arguably the greatest defender ever, Brooks Robinson. His 16 gold gloves are the most all-time by a position player, with the next best position player having only 13. And only pitcher Greg Maddux has more gold gloves than him with 18. The 1964 AL MVP was a career Baltimore Oriole, being their star hitter on the most dominant team of the 60s and early 70s. He helped lead his Baltimore teams to four World Series appearances in 6 years, winning two of them, including the 1970 championships, where Robinson was MVP of the World Series, and he had over 2,800 career hits and 268 home runs for the franchise. The only person who could be number one is Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man, who played in over 2,000 straight games and has a 95.3 career WAR. A two-time MVP, Ripken was the face of the Orioles of the 80s and 90s, making the All-Star team 19 straight years. On top of being an elite hitter, Ripken put most defensive WAR all time, winning multiple gold gloves. So beloved in Baltimore, when the 1994 strike happened, the Orioles owner was the only one who refused to play with replacement players due to knowing Ripken would lose his consecutive game streak if they played with them. On top of playing the most career games at shortstop all time, he has 431 homers, most all time at the shortstop position, 3,184 hits, a World Series title, as the Ironman is the greatest Baltimore Orioles of all time. His number 8 retired, and he is the franchise leader in career hits, doubles, RBIs, and homers. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to click on the video above if you're interested in watching more about baseball.